Hope, day 362. My name is Jason, and I am a channeler and a daily dose of hope. You may ask, what is it? It is just that, a daily dose of hope, because in our world at the moment, things can be quite crazy and are quite crazy, and the energies on our planet have been increasing. And as they increase, our world tends to resemble a low-budget science fiction film. Although sometimes recently, the budget seems to have been increasing. The special effects are quite good. So the Daily Dose of Hope is just an attempt to see all the things that are happening and not jump into fear or judgment or anger or despair, but instead to just see it all playing out. It's a story that's playing out for all of us so that we understand where we are in our world. And I like to use this symbol of the yin and yang because it's a very appropriate symbol of the way that our world, our third dimension, works. We have two polarities, and they are inverted, right? Same shape, but upside down. These two polarities work off of each other, and that's what creates our experience here on this third dimension. Now, we have been going through many different things recently, and we understand that it can be very tiresome to be in these polarities, one or the other. But that recently we've discovered that there's a path right here, right in the middle of this. And that is the path of neutrality. That's the path of not jumping into either side. Understanding that our emotions, our power of judging something or fearing something is very powerful, and we can create with that. And so it's important for us to understand that if we want to create the world that we want to see, we have to be in the neutral point where we're not being swayed by other ideas and other emotions, but we're just listening in quiet to our hearts and what our hearts really want. Because when we are in the polarities, it's very easy for us to be caught up in the emotion, to be caught up in the waves, and then to be, pushed along by the waves. And another aspect of this is my guides have said that the polarities are being more and more polarized to push us to the middle path. So we are in a transition period, and that transition period is nearing its end, is what I've heard. And the next period we'll be jumping into is the period of creation. But first we need to see everything. We're in the period of transition, which is the period of disclosure, where this whole symbol is being revealed to us. We're being able to see everything. And what's most important in this time is not all the stuff that's being revealed. What's most important is how we react to it. I was sharing this yesterday, that this show that we are on, this show of the Earth transitioning, is one of the biggest shows in the universe. Beings from all over the galaxy, all over the universe are watching us. Yes. They're not watching what's happening. They're not watching what's happening in the media, what's happening in the news. They're watching how do we react. So similar to the Truman Show, we understood everything. There was nothing to be disclosed. We knew that the main character of the Truman Show was in a TV series, and that everyone around him were actors, and he was living in a set. But he didn't know that. And what we were watching and what was so exciting was seeing him realize that. And that's what's happening with us. We are slowly beginning to realize where we are. That's what our process is now. We're just kind of waking up to, oh, wow, whoa, I didn't realize that. So, and I'd like to just share my site really quickly. So this is what I have. I have spiritual guidance. You can click here, and these are channeling sessions. So you can ask your questions, and I will channel the answers for you. And I have 3 different flavors: 1 question, 30-minute, 60-minute, and testimonials below. And I also have offerings here. And I have this mug, Love is Already Won, You Just Haven't Noticed Yet. And also this Lightworker community. This is a community where you can join. And we have 2 channelings a month plus sound baths. 2 live Q&A channelings a month plus sound baths. And let's see. In addition to that, you get access to all of the archives. So here's all of the sound bath archives, and here are the channeling archives going back to 2023. So 50 plus hours of channeling plus about 30 sound baths. And the sound baths, let's see, for example, here, depending on the energy of the month. So, for example, this one, February, sometimes we're faced with difficult decisions in which neither options are ideal. And the guides were saying if we take a step back and ask the universe, we'll be provided with the ability to see that there are other options. So this is a guided meditation for February. And it just goes through each month we have one. So if you're interested, please check it out. And yeah. So let me start today. I've got just a few different things I want to talk about. Maybe I'll just start with this. Lesson 18. I'm doing the Course in Miracles lessons again. And now I'm kind of doing it a bit with perspective now. And this one, lesson 18, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. So this is just the idea that our minds are shared, our perception is shared, and that how we perceive things affects others as well. And that is one of the realizations that we're coming to here on this third dimension, is that we're all connected. And so it's about, this idea does not refer to what you see as much as how you see it, right? Perception. Perception is very important. And what's beautiful about this is you can look through the lessons. So 18, I'm not alone in experiencing it. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. So your judgments, your fears, your angers are affecting the people around you, affecting the world around you. I'm determined to see things differently. What I see is a form of vengeance. Yeah. So we judge the world and we attack it. I can escape from the world I see by giving up attack thoughts, right? Yeah, that's all we got to do is just jump out of judgment. And I do not perceive my best interests, and then it leads up to da-da-da-da. I don't know what anything is for. And this is my favorite lesson. And here, purpose is meaning. Today's idea explains why nothing you see means anything. You don't know what it's for. Therefore, it's meaningless to you. Everything is for your best interests. That is what it's for. That is its purpose. That is what it means. It is in recognizing this that your goals become unified. It is in recognizing this that what you see is given meaning. So this is a beautiful one. And here you perceive the world and everything in it as meaningful in terms of ego goals, right? Hold on, let me close this thing. I don't know why this is opening. Yeah, so ego goals like, I got to get that job. Oh, I got to get that car. I got to get that relationship and all this kind of stuff. And then I'll be happy. But we don't see the big picture. And it's just our ego. And the ego is there to lead you astray, basically. It's there to take you down. But if you kind of let go and understand that everything is for your good and that your goals, you have to kind of take a step back and listen for guidance to figure out what's going on. Because we only have the street. It's like the Google Maps. So usually we can see the Google Maps, the overview, and then you get the street view. So we are only given the street view. And so we ask for guidance to be given the overview so we can see more. So I wanted to share that today. And also I wanted to share this. So I've been experimenting a bit with this. Yeah, I've been using artificial intelligence. Sorry. But so I've been sometimes with my dreams. So I'll draw my dreams, and then I'll kind of see if Grok can draw it better. And so this is something that came through in my morning meditation today. So this woman. So let's see if I can make her bigger. Let's see, does that work? Yeah, I guess that's clear. So this woman, she came into my morning meditation, and she, as you can see, she came from this kind of Gothic castle, and she was walking down a hill. The hill didn't really come out very well. And yeah, she was very, very beautiful, and she approached me, and I said, oh, hello, and she said, yes, hello. And turns out that she is living in this, I think the word is called liminal space. She's living in a space that is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And she's looking for a place to live, because the place that she's in, the world that she is getting smaller and smaller. And this is something that Samuel talked about yesterday, that the yin and yang symbol is splitting apart, and those spaces that these beings could usually hide in, for example, being in one polarity or the other, it's impossible now. It's those spaces are getting smaller and smaller, especially if you are service to self, which this woman was, unfortunately. But so she is in the service to self place, and that world is shrinking and shrinking, and there's nowhere for them to hide. And so she approached me, and she wanted to kind of hide within my energy, or like live in my energy. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm not a big fan of that. So I said no, and she got really upset, which is fine. But what I told her is basically like, if you want to live in a bigger place, you have to start being service to others. You have to give. You can't exist in this realm anymore unless you do that. And well, that was what I told her, but she wasn't very happy about that either. But I just wanted to share that because it was kind of interesting to me. And this is how I've been using this to get my dream imagery and channeling and imagery. So I want to share that. And the other thing I wanted to share was I started doing a parasite cleanse. And so this is Dr. Lee Merritt, and she has this parasite cleanse. And so it's pretty easy, right? You just take one of these things, fenbendazole, ivermectin, you choose one. I chose artemisinin, which is this stuff. Artemisinin, Artemisinin is, so ivermectin was created by a Japanese scientist to deal with river blindness in Africa. Many people in Africa were drinking water that was very parasite-ridden, and it was causing them to go blind. And so he devised this ivermectin for them so that they could heal themselves. And at the same time, and he won a Nobel Prize for it. And at the same time, there's a Chinese doctor who created artemisins, and they were for treatment of malaria and parasites. And so artemisinin is created from sweet wormwood, known in Japan as yomugi or mugwort. And I often put it in my tea these morning. I put it in my tea, the mugwort. It's good stuff. People used to smoke it actually before because it was cheaper than tobacco. And I imagine it's much better for you, maybe. But so anyway, I chose artemisinin because, mugwort grows everywhere around me here in Japan. So, but yeah, so it's an interesting thing. So you just go 3 days on and 3 days off. So you take the dosage 3 days and then you take 5 days off. And then they just say to look at your stools and see. And if there's no change, then change to a different one. And if there is a change, then keep going. And one interesting thing, watch out for cold and flu symptoms and sugar cravings. Cold and flu means you're killing too many parasites at once, so you have to go a little bit slower. Sugar cravings, parasites crave sugar, so sugar cravings are a sign that too many baby parasites are hatching out. And this is the most interesting part, I thought. So let's see. When you get your cycling down twice a month, make sure the on part of the cycle, so when you're taking the anti-parasitic medicine, begin on the full and new moon. So because the full moon is maximum parasite hatch time. Isn't that nuts? How do the parasites know? And what connection do parasites have with the moon? And I think this is quite a deep question. On the surface, it doesn't seem so, but I think there's something really, really important to all of us to understand about that, this connection between the moon and parasites. So yeah, I want to share that. And since I'm on this kick, I want to share this. I thought this was pretty interesting that the Florida Senate, I'm not sure if I'm even allowed to talk about this stuff on YouTube anymore. I don't know where YouTube is anymore. I'm sure Rumble's okay with it. But yeah, check this out. This is pretty interesting. So I guess I'll just kind of blow it up a bit. There you go. It's HB 477. And as you can see, it says here, you can probably read it yourself. But yeah, there it is. And it's passed in the Florida Senate. It's going to go to the House next. And interesting. So it's interesting because this idea that this is happening is still many people will question and say, no, that's not real. This can't be real. But if it's come this far and passed in the Florida Senate, then there must be something. There must be something to it. And when you look up at your sky and you see those clouds that don't look like real clouds, or you see those planes that fly by and they leave those trails that never leave, that trails that they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you think, I wonder what's going on. And you see that video of Prince from I think it was the 1990s, the singer Prince, and he was saying, when I was younger, I remember like I was playing with my friends, and then all of a sudden this plane would fly by and the clouds would appear in the sky, and then everyone, I noticed all the mothers and fathers started fighting. Did you ever notice that? I remember that part. That was funny. But yeah, but these things, it's good. This is part of the revealance of everything that's on our planet, and it's just that. Nothing to worry about. And the reason that a lot of people are noticing it more and more in your skies, more and more fake clouds in your skies, the reason is because, it's disclosure time. It's time for us to realize it. And so it's got to be really like in our faces. And from my what I've kind of gathered so far, I think the most of it, the worst part of it is over, and that a lot of what this is just to kind of show us more and more of what it is. So I think in the past it was much, much more dangerous, but I think now this is just to kind of, jar us a bit and say, hey, look, this is one of those things. And the only way to change something in our world is to first observe it. We have to observe something first, and then we can change it. That's the only way. We have to be aware of something before we can change it. And so our awareness is very powerful. And this brings me to the next idea, which is social proof. This was something that I heard yesterday, and I thought, I never heard of this word before, but social proof. What an interesting word. Social proof is that in situations where we don't know what to do, we will copy the actions of others because we don't know what we're supposed to do. It was coined by Robert Cialdini in 1984 book Influence, Science and Practice. Social proof is used in ambiguous social situations where people are unable to determine the appropriate mode of behavior and is driven by the assumption that the surrounding people possess more knowledge about the current situation, right? So basically we will imitate. If we don't know what's what, we will start to imitate. And so this is very interesting for what's happening in the music industry, for example, right? A lot of, I think it's changed a bit, but in the past few years, it's been pretty intense what's been happening. I mean, it's very, very overtly, prawn, Prawn, prawn-like. And the images that they're presenting of women and the images that they're presenting of men are not so wonderful. They're presented in ways that it's not quite nice. But many children will grow up watching this, and since they don't know, they don't know how they're supposed to act, it's social proof. They're, okay, well, these guys are doing that, and I look up to them, so I might as well do what they're doing. And so social proof is creating the next generation in that sense. So this is just part of that, but how children are doing this, we are doing it as well. When we see someone, we're not sure what to do, we follow what other people are doing. In Japan, there's something called sakura, and sakura means, of course, cherry blossom, but the other meaning is that it's basically like people are paid to line up at a restaurant or something like that, and then other people will say, that must be a popular restaurant because everyone's lining up there. So that's called sakura, and that's similar to what's happening on the social media. Right, we will see, someone on X or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, and they've got many, many fans, and so everyone's going to think, well, they must know what they're talking about because they've got so many fans, and this kind of stuff. And so you just trust something because, a lot of other people trust it, right? So it's very kind of, oh, this one, planted audience members. Theaters sometimes use planted audience members who are instructed to give ovations at prearranged times. And, laugh tracks are another aspect of this. And, but I think another aspect of this is what's going on now in, right now, what are we at? The 18th? It's the 20th here in Japan. But yeah, I know that in America there's people all over America that are out in the streets, and yeah, I guess I won't go into that. But they're out in the streets, and so kind of. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it. Never mind. We'll talk about it. So, but here we are, April 20th. This is Easter time, I guess. One of my least favorite seasons of the world, of the year. Not because of the religious connotations, but there's just something about this season that it really it looks beautiful on the surface with all the flowers and all these things, but there's something about it that just I don't know what it is exactly. So I'm going to go into a channeling, and I'm going to ask, what they have to say for today. Here we go. Greetings, we are Sanatkumara, and we're here. And we are what you might call a facilitator of your universe, a facilitator of your world. We got very big so that you could exist in this safe place on this planet. You assume that this place is not a safe place. You think that this place is full of danger and full of pitfalls and full of places that everything can go wrong. But understand that this is a very safe place because nothing here will affect you. Nothing here will affect the love that you are. What you're made of never changes, no matter what happens down here, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, where you are, who you are, it doesn't matter. This is a space where you are able to experience yourself, to experience your consciousness in an era of safety, in a place of safety. Nothing can happen, nothing can affect your soul. Your soul is crystalline, your soul is protected, nothing can affect it. But down here, you assume and you think that you are this body, so things can affect your body, yes. Your body is not you. Your body is the device that you use. It is the tool that you use to experience this dimension. But yes, your body can be hurt, your body can fall into pitfalls, but you yourself cannot be hurt. And once you understand that you are not your body, then you realize that your body can't be hurt either, because you are animating this body. And what is animating the body? Love, and love that cannot be changed. And so once you start to understand that, you'll understand your power down here. Your ability, that you cannot be hurt, that this is truly a safe place. And this is something that we would like to bring forward to all of you today. That you spend most of your time worrying about getting hurt, worrying about falling into a pitfall, worrying about being tricked, worrying about treacherous people, about treacherous events, treacherous things. But what we will tell you is that is foolish to be worrying about all of those things, because you're love. You are love. And when this experience ends, you go back to being love. And what you bring with you is your reactions to all of the things that you've experienced down here. That's all you bring with you. All of the reactions all the things that you've learned about worrying and about regret and about the fact that you didn't need to. You look back, when you leave this place, you'll look back and think about all the time that you spent regretting and worrying about treacherous situations, treacherous things, about danger. And you'll say, wow, why was I thinking about these things? What was the point of that? I could have been living this beautiful time, having this beautiful time, just living and just breathing and just walking. But instead I spent all that time worrying, sitting in fear and sitting in anger. And this is what we would say to all of you, is understand that you're made of love and that nothing can truly hurt you. You are not your body. And so this body is just an extension of what you are, but it is not you. It is a representation of who you are on this planet. And this is what we wanted to bring forward to all of you today, because you'll start to see many things, and many things will will shock you, and many things might put you into fear. But what we'll have to remind you always is that you're made of love. You are made of love, and so these things are not real in that sense. And so this is the final exam of this third dimension. You will be shown images, you'll be shown scenes that go against everything that you have believed up to this point. All of your belief systems might fall, and that is fine, because you are also not a belief system. You are not a body, you are not a belief system, you are not an emotion, you are not an illness. You are love. That's what you are. And your creative ability is quite strong. So if you believe that you are a belief, you will be a belief. It is a false belief in that sense, and it is not real, but your belief is that strong, your creative ability is that strong, so that your world will shape that way. It will become that belief system. But understand that you're not a belief system, and that the belief systems are systems that teach you to not be who you are. You are love. You're not a belief system. You're not an emotion. You're not a sickness. You're love. You're just love. Understand that. When you start to see things that might shock you and it might put you in a place of fear, just look back and say, oh, right, but I am none of these things. I am love. I'm just love. And I am watching these things with love, understanding that they have to play out. All right. So yeah, that's today, where we at? Day 362. So nice nice to see you, and nice to meet you as well. So yeah, there you go. As I say, go beach. So day 362, this wasn't really started as a year, like 365 days. That was kind of just in the way I was thinking, well, I don't know when this is going to end, and I was thinking about just doing 365 days and then stopping. I asked my guides, and they said, well, we would suggest continuing. And so, but what I'm going to do is, I think after 365, I'm going to take a bit of a break from doing the everyday things, because I really enjoy doing it. I really enjoy coming on, but I think I need a bit of a break, maybe a week-long break or something. But yeah. But I really appreciate you all for joining me on this journey. Yeah. And so yeah. Hope you're hopeful, and hopefully I will see you all tomorrow. Ciao for now.